Good morning and welcome to TMI Socials. It's a new week and of course there are plenty interesting news stories that you should be updated with, especially on the street of social media. My name is Anwoluwapo Stevens, a social media butterfly. Now let's kickstart in Brazil, where on Friday precisely, over the weekend, 62 were killed as plane crashes in Brazil. So it was in the news that a plane carrying 58 passengers and 4 crew has crashed in the Brazilian state of São Paulo. The twin-engine turboplane was flying from Cascavel in the southern state of Paraná to the main airport in São Paulo city when it came down in a town of Vinhedo. Now, the airline did say, well, local authorities on Friday said there were no survivors, sadly, and authorities said the plane landed in a residential area, but no one was on ground, when this incident occurred. I mean, no one got injured when it happened. Let's have a feel of what went down in Brazil on Friday. Now moving over to how you reacted to this online, let's take a look. Right, so this reaction from Fatam from Gaza, she says, from wounded Gaza, our condolences to the state of Brazil and its people because we know the feeling of loss. We do not want any person to lose a loved one. Another reaction would be from Pounds. Now, this person says, plane itself needs parachute for soft landing when an engine fails. And Uchenna responded by saying, the most scary thing about airplanes, chance of survival is extremely thin. I think aviation industry needs to do something about the high mortality rates on airplane crashes. Rest in peace. Let's have one more reaction from streaming farmers, and this user says, airplanes should normalize putting parachute under each seat inside the plane so that passengers can use and jump out while it's still on air FGS. If they can build a plane, then putting parachutes can't be overlooked. This death could be avoided if there were parachutes. Rest in peace to the deceased. Well, here in Nigeria, over the weekend, ex-President Olusegun Obasanjo has questioned the character of Nigeria's leaders, saying that those who occupy public offices should be behind bars, he says. Well, he stated this on Friday in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, where he received audience of 6 members of the House of Representatives and co-sponsors of the bill on a single 6-year term and rotation between the North. It says, and I quote, so the very beginning is ourselves. Yes, a system. Yes, we have to rethink our democracy, but the character of people in government must change. With all due respect, most of those in government should right now be behind bars or in gallows, he mentioned. Let's listen to him verbatim.
It's ourselves. And until we take care of ourselves, it doesn't matter. We may have one term of 4 years, one term of 6 years, one term of 7 years. If it's the same people and the same mentality and the same way we do things, it won't change. So our beginning is ourselves, to my mind. Yes, system, yes, democracy. We have to rethink democracy. We have to rethink the form of government. What is the character of the people that are in government? With all due respect, most of them should be behind the bar. And that is the truth. Most of them should be behind the bar. Some should even be in the gallows.
Most of them should be behind the bars, he says. Well, trust social media, who digged up a lot of things and found an old video of the former president. Well, listen to what he said.
what will have taken us.
You have a great capacity for putting a very rosy tint on your record, but it's not me accusing you, if I may, Mr. President, it's not me accusing you of failing in your tenure, and I'm only judging you this way because you make so many claims to be a crusader for better governance, clean governance.
Because I did it. And you are not recalling, you are not dealing with what was done. You are dealing with what was
I'm dealing with the way Nigeria perceives you today.
No,
when you say, hang on, when you say it is necessary for Africa's governments to clean up their act today because corruption is corrosive at a time when population is rising so fast, be mindful of what the National Assembly said in November of last year when you lectured them about corruption. Do you want me to read it?
Read what they say.
Lest we forget, they said, the person who introduced corruption to this National Assembly is Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. He birthed the Fourth Republic National Assembly with corrupt practices from day one of his administration.
Well, a clear case of when you live in the glass house, don't throw stones. Let's see how you took this from former President Olusegun Obasanjo. This user, Felix, says, when they leave power or the office or are not in power, they suddenly have the solutions to all the problems. Politicians, he says. Another reaction from IMB model. This one says, yes, Daddy, you said the absolute truth, including you, sir. Well, one more take would be from Major General Femi Otumba, and he says, no serious Nigerians will take OBJ views and opinions seriously. The man is a typical Nigerian politician who only knows all the solution to Nigeria's problems. Immediately they leave office. The funny thing about these characters is they always have their delusion supporters. Okay, now let's move over to Bauchi State, where it's actually had a really severe downpour that damaged the federal highway connecting Kano State to Maiduguri, particularly between the Malori and Guskuri villages in the Kantum local government area of Bauchi State. Well, the flood has created a large crater in the middle of the road, now forcing motorists to find alternative routes. So, briefing journalists on Thursday, the governor, Muhammadu, urged the federal government to urgently repair the damaged road to facilitate the transportation of goods and services for the benefits of the citizens. So the highlights of this particular story was, I mean, instead of the governor to demand or start having the solutions on ground, he says he's going to inform the federal government about this damage. Take a look. Now let's see how you took this story on social media. This user says, why roads go look like carpets? Well, successful winner responded by saying, instead of ordering immediate construction on the road, he will inform the federal government. Now, why the country know they move forward? Let's have order taken this. Chuku Emeka says, now these are signs that God is not happy with Nigeria. Well, one more take will be from Calvin, and this guy says, this same flooding that happened in Dubai, yet their roads were still intact. Effect of using quack engineers for projects. Well, away from that now, let's also talk about another, interesting stuff that happened on social media, as there were viral pictures of suspected kidnappers posing with the ransom money, showing that they were balling, or they are actually ballers. Well, this picture sparked reactions on social media, but the beautiful part of it is Olumuyiwa Adejobi, that's the police spokesperson, coming out to respond by saying that we can't apprehend all the criminals at once. Appreciate us for once we have arrested, appreciate us for the ones we have arrested, he says. And then he said plenty other things. And of course, this particular tweet generated reactions on socials. Let's move over to how you responded to this story. Daddy Twin says, the police always gives intelligence reports days before a protest, saying some people want to hijack the protest. I'm asking, why doesn't this intelligence stretch towards these bandits? Another take would be from David Brand, and this user says, the criminals you do not want to apprehend today are the ones you choose not to apprehend. You are part of the problem we have in Nigeria. You aid and abet criminals. Well, finally, let's have some entertainment gist. As also, over the weekend, we had hashtag Miss South Africa trended online, and a heated debate has actually unfolded on social media following the announcement of the winner, Mai Lerox, a white South African, as the winner of Miss South Africa 2024 beauty pageant. Well, the controversy surrounds the disqualification of Chidinma Adesina, a black woman who withdrew after being trolled over her Nigerian heritage. And now that is our beautiful Chidinma right there. Well, Nigerian-born Chidinma Vanessa announced her withdrawal from the competition on Thursday, citing safety and well-being of herself and that of her family members. I mean, social media attacks targeted her Nigerian heritage, despite her being born in South Africa and meeting all competitions requirements. So apparently she was born in South Africa, Soweto, to a Nigerian father, and her mother is from Mozambique, and they said, I mean, she's not South African enough to be part of the competition, and a white lady actually won. Let's go to South Africa for a bit.
A brand new Miss South Africa 2024 is
Moving over to your take on socials, let's have this one from our very first user. Potash Hope says, TBH, it's very laughable. So this is the indigenous South Africa, and they have been clamoring for all that serere just to crown their master's daughter, Tor, she says. Another take from Hassan says, Nigerians with double standards. So many people who didn't want GRV to be Lagos State governor because his mother is Igbo suddenly wants Chidinma to be Miss South Africa. It's a shame. Sonny Duke, what do you think?
Disgraceful and very, very embarrassing.
Right.
It's quite disheartening that all of these is still happening in South Africa. The xenophobic attacks we saw on Nigeria some time ago.
Right.
I don't know why there's this deep-seated animosity against Nigerians. Perhaps they are pretty scared of Nigerians and their capacity to dominate. And in dominating, it's not our makings, because we have the capacity to dominate. I think I was a bit really, interested in that road that was washed away within just
the Red Sea.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But that's the way the country is. But we hope that someday we'll get it right. Nice one there. Good job.
Thank you very much.
Good job. That's our package today on TMI on the ITV network. Hope you had a great time. Be sure to join us tomorrow for a fresh package.